Hey, what's up guys, this is Jason over here. So I'm gonna make a really short video about three very different pricing of gaming keyboards from cheap, mid-range and really expensive gaming keyboard. Like what's the difference between all these three gaming keyboard? Make your decision when purchasing a new gaming keyboard. Alright, let's hit the B-roll. Okay, so let's start off with the expensive gaming keyboard. So this is the Corsair K95 Platinum. So this costs at 800 ringgit, but what exactly you're going to get for 800 ringgit? So let's start off with the keyboard itself. It's a full-size one. It's an excellent build quality, brushed aluminum finish, which is a very premium finish. It's using a double shot PBT keycaps, 6 programmable macro keys, video function key. It has a USB pass-through, underneath cable management route. It's also fully customizable RGB. You have to use their IQ software to customize the RGB yourself. It's pretty easy to use and I enjoy using their software to use it. You can even customize the logo on top of it, which is pretty cool. So design wise, I think this is one of the best looking gaming keyboards I've ever seen. So the switches it's using is a Cherry MX Speed. If you're unfamiliar with Cherry MX Speed, it's basically a really fast speed. It's a 1.2mm per travel compared to the blue one, which is a 2mm per travel. 100 million clicks compared to the blue one, which is a 50 million clicks. So in terms of reliability and the response time, this is the best to go if you want that fast response time. So in terms of gaming and typing experience, I enjoy using this keyboard. It feels really good. I don't think it has any flaws using these switches. I do say that if you are getting this keyboard as your first time gaming keyboard, you'll find the switches a bit too fast for your first time experience, but once you use it for 1 to 2 weeks, you'll get used to it for the switches. Oh, it also does come with an armrest. It has a two-sided armrest. One is a gripper version and one is a smoother surface. For me, I love the gripper version. It's very easy to attach the armrest to the keyboard. I can get really long, can get very comfortable, very long hours with or without the armrest. At least they give you an option for the armrest. For me personally, I rarely use the armrest because I can get really comfortable just without the armrest itself. So overall, what do I think of this gaming keyboard? Well, it's really expensive for the price for 800 ringgit, but what you're gonna get is a really strong build quality, an incredible software to customize the RGB, a better switches, which is Cherry MX Speed, fast as well, using a double shot PBT. It can last you up to 4 to 5 years down the road if you're planning to use a keyboard that can last you forever. Other than that, yeah, there's pretty nothing else I can say about this keyboard. There are some other things that annoy me the most, which is the cable. The cable is really thick, like thick. For me, I find it very annoying because it's really thick and it's very hard for me to like bend it, you know. But to some people, they love it, you know. For me, I just find it annoying, but nothing much that I really hate about it. I wish the media function key, which is the volume here, a bit tighter, but hey, some people love this rollover here. So what's there to complain? Overall, 10 out of 10, this gaming keyboard, I love it. So let's move on to the second gaming keyboard, which is the mid-range. Okay, so this is the mid-range gaming keyboard. This is the Tapware Phantom RGB TKL version. You can get this one with the full-size gaming keyboard, but I got it with the TKL version. This starts at 180 ringgit, whereas the full-size gaming keyboard is extra 9 ringgit, which is a pretty good deal for if you want a full-size one. Immediately, right, the design of the keycap, you can tell that it isn't as visible compared to the Corsair K95, because that one is using a double shot PBT, whereas this one is ABS. Now I know you're gonna say in the comments like, ABS is today, you know, why would I spend that money on the ABS, you know, you should buy the PBT. PBT is the kind, you know, like,
there is no bathroom!
Come on, it's 180 ringgit. You're not gonna expect too much for a double shot PBT because ABS is much more cheaper process to make compared to PBT. So don't expect that, okay? But overall, quality wise, it's great, alright? It's a really strong build quality, even though outside it looks like a plastic frame. I mean, it is a plastic frame, but underneath the keyboard itself is a 1.5mm steel plate, which is why it's a very rigid keyboard. It's like hardly can bend the keyboard, which is really great for the price that you're gonna get. The best part of this gaming keyboard is that it's using a modular switches. If you want to change the switches to using like a Cherry MX blue, red, linear, you can't do that because of the keycaps. The size of it is a bit smaller and tighter than the standard Cherry MX sizing, so you can't change the switches other than optimal switches. How do you actually pronounce optimal? Is that how you pronounce optimal? Optimal? A tumor?
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
So in terms of the RGB, it does come with its own software. You can customize their RGB using the software. You can't customize their RGB using like individual keys. If you want, like let's say you want your WASD to be red and the rest is blue color, you cannot. It's already loaded with their own preset. But even though they already have their own preset RGB, it's pretty cool. That some of the lighting effects is really good. But that's what you're gonna expect for 180 ringgit. The software isn't the prettiest as well, but come on, it's 180 ringgit. I think it's alright for the price. So overall, in terms of the gaming and typing experience, I can get really long hours using this keyboard. I don't find it very annoying using this keyboard. Straight up, I can use it for like a month or a year with no discomfort using this keyboard. It does not come with the armrest, but hey, I'm okay with that. So overall, this keyboard, I'll give it like an 8, like a solid 8, because this mid-range gaming keyboard is pretty good. I think the only complaints I have is, like I said, the keycap itself is using ABS. It isn't as visible compared to the Corsair. So when you're in a dark environment and you did not on the RGB, you couldn't see the letter itself compared to the K95. A minor issue but I can live with that. You know, you gotta turn on the RGB anyway, so why would you turn it off? Duh. So overall, a solid 8 for a mid-range gaming keyboard. So let's move on to the cheap version. Okay, so this is the cheapest gaming keyboard I can find. This is a Marvel Scorpion KG909. This starts at 40 ringgit. I do believe it does come with a gaming mouse together, like a special combo. With that one is about around 80 ringgit. And if you do want to watch my review of a gaming mouse, which is the Razer Basilisk X Hyperspeed, click on the pop-up banner on the top right hand corner of the screen to watch my review on that. So let's start off with the font. The font isn't the greatest as well. If you can look at the G and the 6, it looks identical. I'm not quite sure what kind of font it is. It looks too big and looks too weird for me. And the print screen button, the home button, the page down, page up is on a short form, which I have no idea why they do that, because even the cheapest keyboard I can find from Logitech, like those kind of office keyboard, they don't even do that, like a short form print screen or even the home button, this kind of thing. I don't think they even do that. For me, it's really weird. But design wise, it's what you expect for a cheap gaming keyboard. It is a keyboard with mechanical switches, and speaking of switches, it's still using the optimal blue like the TechWare itself, but the sound of the switches sounds a bit strange to me. It sounds a bit hollow, if I'm not mistaken, like very echoey. I think it's due with the keycap itself, not the switches, but I'll give a sound test later in the video. But just design wise, isn't the greatest as well. It's what you're gonna expect for a cheap gaming keyboard. It's fully made of plastic as well. It's not really, it's not to the point that you can break with your hand, but it's solid enough for 40 ringgit. So in terms of the RGB, it's already preloaded inside this keyboard. It does not have an onboard memory chip. So when every time you turn off your computer, right, you always reset the lighting effects of the RGB. So every time you turn it back on, you have to reset it back the RGB effect that you want, which I think is pretty annoying. But I mean, 40 ringgit is like, okay, fine, whatever, 40 ringgit. You can't customize the RGB, the color you can't change it. You just only can change the lighting effect that's already built in. So yes, the RGB is pretty mediocre, but for 40 ringgit, I'll give it a 5 for the lighting effect itself. Another annoying thing of this keyboard is that if you turn on these 3 LED in a very dark environment room, it's gonna be a very bright LED in front of your face. There's no plastic covering the LED, which most keyboard they do have like a plastic covering the LED so it doesn't flashbang you, but it does, so it's pretty annoying. And you're gonna put the keyboard on the table, right? So when you're in gaming, so if you accidentally turn on the cap lock on, it's gonna be flashbang you underneath your eye. So just be warned with that. It's pretty annoying, I'll say that. Alright, let's do this.
Move it, son.
Oh no! So in conclusion, what do I think of all these 3 gaming keyboards? Well, I think it really does come to your own preference and your budget. If you're on a tight budget and you just want the clickiness of a keyboard, you don't care about the RGB, you don't really care about the name branding or the build quality, yeah, the Scorpion KG909 is a pretty decent cheap gaming keyboard for the price. At 40 ringgit, I mean, that's a pretty good bargain for what you're getting. And then if you have the extra cash, I recommend you go for the Techwear Phantom TKL or the full version, of course, because it does come with its own software to customize it. You have own modular switches. It only swappable using optimal switches, not using a standard Cherry MX switches or even a Kale, but at least you have the option to change it. Or else, if you don't want that one, you want the most expensive gaming keyboard, you have a billion or gillion of ringgit in your bank account, then yeah, you can go for the K95. It's a great keyboard. It has the best build quality, of course, all of this keyboard that I just reviewed. It has a macro key, it has the best customizable RGB. So yes, overall, I will put my money on the K95, but you do not want to spend the 800 ringgit. You can go for the lower down version like the K68. It's also using Cherry MX speed as well as the K95. It's just that it does not have the macro keys and maybe some other features that I'm not aware of. Maybe maybe the brush aluminum finish, but it's not too far away in terms of quality build. So overall, that's my review of the 3 gaming keyboard: cheap, mid-range and expensive gaming keyboard. So what do you think of all these 3 gaming keyboards? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.